G'day, welcome to another edition of Rick Massie Fishing. Today I'm out fishing the Patterson River or the Paddo Lakes, and it's the middle of winter and the water's a little bit dirty at this time of year. Last week I fished here and did quite well sounding schools of fish on the sounder and throwing metal vibes at them. Now, one of the things that I will explain today is the technique that I'm using when I'm targeting these fish with metal vibes. There's a lot of different ways you can fish, but my preferred method here is to use my fish finder, find the schools of fish, and then position myself downstream of those fish and then bring the lure over the top of the fish and drag it through them. My theory with a lot of these schooled fish is they are facing into the current and letting the food come to them, so I prefer to drag it past the fish rather than behind the fish and drag it through. One of the things too with using the metal vibes is once I've sound these fish and I do throw it upstream, I don't generally give the lure a massive rip or a hop. I'll generally throw the lure out, let it sink to the bottom, watching the braided line as it sinks down, and then as soon as it hits the bottom you'll see it go slack. And I'll generally just do little hops of only 1 inch to 2 inch, and generally do 1 or 2 hops, get a little bit of vibration, let it sink to the bottom. I'll let it then drag a little bit through the water, and then I'll give it a couple of small hops again. And that technique has worked really well over the past few weeks, so we'll see how it goes today. The lure that's been doing the damage over the last few weeks is this lure here in the Cyber Vibe range, Strike Pro. It's the A18 colour, but other colours that are natural dark black colours have been working quite well as well. One of the things that I also like to do with these is I will smear a very small section of sack scent on these as well, whether it be the crab or bloodworm. They're the two flavours that I generally use this time of year, and I smear those onto the lures just to mask a little bit of human odour, but also to add a little bit of attractant into the lure. Usually this time of year with those fish that are schooled up, they're sulking on the bottom, so they can be a little bit timid some days to get them to strike, so every little advantage helps. Now, I always on my outfits when I'm fishing this time of year, I run braided line in a high vis colour, and then I'll run a leader generally around 3.5–4 metres, around 5 or 6 pound of fluorocarbon. I prefer the braid for the reason that once I see that lure hit the bottom, we can see the slack in the line, we can see takes on the drop. It does have advantages occasionally when you're fishing open mud flats and cockle beds where you might run a fluorocarbon straight through all the way, but for the form of fishing I'm doing today, I definitely prefer this way of fishing with the braid and the fluorocarbon leaders. Now let's see how we go. Now with my sounder, I like to set it up with a split screen scenario, and you can just see on the sounder there at the moment a couple of fish coming through, just holding on the bottom, and with the split screen that allows me to zoom up the bottom and just bring those fish up a lot clearer and easier, and that's one of the handy things that I like to do in here when I'm targeting the bream. So there's a few fish just sitting here on the bottom, just patchy, just here and there, but this is where I'll make a start and just see how things go. Well, that was another episode out this time chasing fish on vibes during the middle of winter. I hope you enjoyed Rick Massie fishing, and I look forward to bringing you another episode in the near future. Bye for now.